Inside Insights, right?
Yep, correct.
25 ratings already. And how many episodes do you have?
So I believe we just dropped our 13th episode. I try to do one every other week. I know a lot of podcasts do one weekly. Since I'm kind of in the earlier phases, I'm just doing one every other week till I really get the hang of things.
All right, dude. All right, well, let's hop into it then here. Good morning. My name is Mike. This is The Odd Pod, a podcast that sits down with podcasters. We talk about what inspires them, what got them into this business, and what tips they have for other podcasters. This is an edited podcast. For the unedited episodes, please be sure to check out my Patreon page. You can find details on it below. Now sit back, get comfy, and let's talk. Hello, it's Mike from The Odd Pod, and today we have Kevin Renner from the Inside Insight. And I think you're going to really like this interview, so go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, so the Inside Insights podcast is something I started up maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. So what I do with my show is I basically bring on different entrepreneurs, different athletes, and really any other types of notable figures that are kind of self-starters that are doing something interesting, basically, and I interview them. I kind of just want to highlight that entrepreneurial spirit a little more, and they really highlight people that are going above and beyond.
And these are just people in St. Louis, or are they from all over?
Yeah, so right now I'm starting with St. Louis, mainly just people in this area. I'm younger, I'm like 25, so a lot of people my age I'm interviewing now. If the show continues to grow, which I hope it does, I may eventually reach out into some other markets. But I really want to get that like St. Louis loyalty and following for right now.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. And how many episodes have you done?
So we just dropped number 13, I believe. Got a few more lined up to record here in the next week or two. So about every other week is when we're dropping a new episode. Okay.
And can I ask, so what podcasts are you listening to?
Yeah, so I listen to a few. I kind of bounce around. The Joe Rogan Experience is a big one that I'm sure anyone who listens to podcasts has heard of at least or listens to. So I like that one. There's another guy from St. Louis named Andy Frisella who has a podcast called Real AF. He is a St. Louis guy, and he started the First Form, which is a fitness company, and he also started all the supplement superstores. So he just has a lot of like entrepreneurial content, self-improvement episodes. So I listen to him a lot. And then another one I listen to a lot is called Short Story Long, which is by a guy named Chris Drama Path. He's an entrepreneur as well. He has his own clothing brand, and he just kind of brings on different guests and interviews them.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, how are you finding your guests? Just out of curiosity, like now that you're finding St. Louis people, are they business owners that you know or entrepreneurs that you already know, or are you going out and finding new ones?
Yeah, so it's kind of a mix. The first probably 5 or 6 people I got on the show, I knew through like personal connections. And I basically I'm trying to grow my Instagram presence a lot and trying to build that brand there. So when I reach out to people, a lot of times it's just through Instagram. And luckily I know a lot of these people. So my personal network has been a big one. And then I'll just ask people who might have a connection with someone else that I would like to be on the show. Say, hey, could you do me a favor? Maybe reach out to this person, see if they'd have any interest in getting on the show, and maybe getting some publicity their way.
Oh, that's always interesting too. And now, when you interview them, how are you interviewing them? Like you're working from your office there. You have a single mic. Mm-hmm. What tool are you using to? Like I'm using Streamyard here. So what are you using to interview them with?
Yeah, so my episodes kind of vary. If I can get someone in person to where they can come to my apartment and actually record in person, I prefer that just because I think the vibe is a little better. You don't have to deal with like technical difficulties or anything like that. So when I do that, people just come over and we just sit in my apartment and record. If I'm recording through the computer like we are right now, I use Zoom. I just set up a Zoom meeting, and then I just have my little USB mic that I use for that.
That's it. And which mic are you using? Sorry, every time I ask you a question, you're grabbing a drink.
Yeah, no worries. So for my USB mic, it is the brand is, I believe, TKGOU. It's just a kind of a cheaper, more affordable USB mic I got off Amazon. It was like $50 maybe.
Oh, yeah, and it seems to be working. Like, it sounds okay.
Yeah. I mean, it gets the job done. It's convenient, so that's why I like to use it.
And what are you editing these with?
I use Audacity. Yep.
Okay, all right.
What about you? What do you use?
I use GarageBand. It's built into my MacBook.
Okay.
So that's funny. I think you're like the third person I've talked to that uses Audacity, and it seems to work fine. Like, are you using a PC or a Mac?
A PC, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm in like I'm kind of thinking about maybe getting a new laptop here soon because this one's a little older. So I'm debating whether or not I want to switch over to a Mac or stick PC.
Now, what made you choose podcasting over, say, something like YouTube or another medium?
You know, I'm still thinking about maybe creating a YouTube channel. When I first started working full time, I started a blog actually, and that was kind of what segmented me or segued me into podcasting. I just started creating, blog entries, which eventually evolved to me wanting to do something a little more. So I started a podcast, and I think eventually I will maybe move over to YouTube or start posting my my episodes on YouTube, maybe create YouTube videos every once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I do myself. So I'm like recording this in video and audio. And I'll take this video, I'll edit it in Final Cut Pro.
Okay.
And then once this is all edited, I'll extract the audio and I'll dump that in the GarageBand. So I just killed two birds with one stone.
Right.
And not only that, but now it's funny. So I uploaded a podcast yesterday and a video. And the podcast, I think, had like 25 listens or something by the end of the day. But the video had like 75 by the end of the day, which really surprised me because the guy that I interviewed, he took that video and then he popped it into his Facebook feed, like for his fan page.
Yeah.
And then all the people just sat there and watched it because it's easier for someone to sit there and watch an interview, like on their social media of choice, as opposed to sit there and listen to it. To listen to it, they actually have to go there and they say, okay, I'm going to listen to this while I walk the dog.
Yep. Definitely.
But when they're watching it, they might just be having a coffee sitting on the couch and they're like, oh, okay, well, this popped up and I'll pay attention to it.
Yeah. I've thought about for like the interviews where I do in my apartment, the in-person ones, I thought about maybe getting some sort of like camera set up to where I have 2 or 3 cameras filming the entire thing. And then I can kind of cut little snippets out to promote on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, just to, like you said, get some more video content out there. Cause I think that's the future. Can I ask you this? So when you are like how long does it take you from recording a podcast episode to actually putting it out on all the social media channels and like YouTube and everything?
Well, I could do, like, for example, if I really want the rush one, I could do it in about 2 hours.
Oh, really?
But usually it'll take me about a week.
Okay.
Because I do have a day job and you can't see it but right now, but my work screen is over here. And I'm just like, I'm still kind of working, but what I'll do is I'll kind of dedicate time to edit it. And about 2 hours. Depends how long the interview is. How long does it take you normally?
It kind of varies. I think it just kind of depends on how much editing I need to do. Some of the episodes some of the episodes we talk for way longer than we probably should. And I edit out certain parts. So that can take a little longer. I'd probably say a day or two. And then that's me not killing myself editing for 6 hours straight after the episode's done recording.
Yeah, well, audio seems to be a lot easier to edit than video. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
With video, there's like, I have to reshoot that, or that's fuzzy, or the light was not working, or you didn't catch the audio, for example.
Yep.
But if you're interested in interviewing people like in your area, in Toronto, we have a podcast called Toronto Mike, and it is just a guy that interviews like local Toronto celebrities.
Okay.
And that podcast gets thousands of hits or thousands of listens, I guess, every week. And I'm hoping to have him on here one day soon. So just gotta keep tuned. And he gets sponsors from he's sponsored from a beer company and a lasagna company.
Really?
Yeah. So what happens is at the end, and the same thing, he brings the people to his home to do the podcast, but he interviews them in his backyard. And he's got like this tent kind of set up out there.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it is kind of fun. But
It's
then all the
unique.
guests end up with they get a lasagna and they get a beer. And then he does a selfie, and that's kind of his
Yeah.
Instagram thing, saying, "Oh, I interviewed XYZ, the DJ from this station or the
Right.
morning guy from that TV station."
I would imagine his sponsors are local Toronto companies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's
Well,
cool.
St. Louis has got a lot of business. I mean,
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of like small business restaurants around here. Ideally, I'd like to maybe once I kind of build my fan base, start reaching out to some companies or some restaurants, seeing if they'd be willing to do some sort of advertisement deal.
well, the first thing I start with is interview them.
Yeah, that's true.
Find some of the smaller restaurants that you like going to, interview them, and then maybe you could give away gift cards for that restaurant.
Yeah.
So this way, it's going to drive the customer, the listener, to go to that restaurant, spend the gift card, introduce them to a new restaurant. So hopefully the restaurant has a win-win on this part. Like they may be losing $25 or $35 at the start, but the gift card.
Right.
But then it's going to bring the listener in, which may gain a long-term customer, especially now when restaurants are really hurting.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I feel bad for them.
Oh, me too. And I love eating out. You can't tell from this angle, but I'm fat. So like I'm a professional Santa. That's how I am.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not even joking.
That's awesome. I love it.
But anyway, I'm just saying, like, that's how I was started off if I was going to suggest it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to get creative with it for sure.
Yeah, well, it's one thing to interview entrepreneurs, but all restaurant owners are entrepreneurs.
Right.
So I would just chase them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. That's all the questions I had for you. Do you have any questions yourself about podcasting, or what do you like? Where do you want to take this in a few years?
I'm kind of just going with the flow right now. I'd like to, like I said, just turn it into maybe more of like a show to where I can put it on YouTube and grow the audience that way. But, I don't really have any like big shiny goals that I'm aiming for. I'm just kind of doing it because I enjoy it. I like the networking opportunities it provides, and I'm just going to kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Like I said, I would build a dream list of who you'd like to talk to.
And I do that. I do have like a list of people I want to get on there and hopefully get like some St. Louis athletes or something. That'd be sweet. But we'll see.
And Twitter is also a great tool. I find Twitter is probably the most effective of all more so than Instagram for myself.
Yeah. Well, it's really easy to share with Twitter with just the ability to retweet. Whereas people on Instagram, they're more likely to just see your post and like it. They're not going to share it like you would a retweet. But yeah, I post stuff on Twitter. I post stuff on Instagram. Instagram's my big one right now.
Okay, so where can people find you then?
So our Instagram page is at Inside Insights Pod. That's really like the main our main place to be found. I have a Facebook page as well. You can find that at The Inside Insights. But those are the two big main ones.
Okay, well, do me a favor. When we're done this, shoot me the links so I can put them into the show description.
Yeah, definitely will.
And we'll take it from there. I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I thought that interview was pretty interesting. Just a reminder, this is an edited version. For the full uncut interview, be sure to go check out my Patreon page below. All the show notes will be there.